Okay. Just going to have a quick look at this project file that somebody sent me, which they say does not open. I guess I would ask people to just bear in mind that blockhead is in alpha, and so you shouldn't get too attached to your project files because there's a chance that they'll just break. But obviously that's, I know it's asking a bit much. Can open project file for reading. I have no idea. That's not what I was expecting. Well, first of all, this has no comment tag on it. What about this one? This one doesn't either. There should be a comment like this one has. So maybe let's just try adding it. I don't know. He might have... oh, look at this. I can't add a comment for some reason. Why not? Why not? That's really weird that I can't add a comment. All sample data is here. The file seems to be fine. And if there's no comment tag on this JSON file, then blockhead should display a very obvious error message in that case. And it didn't. Instead, it just said it can't open it for reading. So let's try dragging this out and then dragging it back in. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Why can't I add a comment? That's so strange. Okay, well, let's try reconstructing this project file. So I'm just going to take the contents of this project file, drag it into here. Oh, look at that. There's some data at after the end of the payload data. So one of the samples maybe is broken. Interesting. Samples. So I'm going to try and reconstruct this project. This one apparently, oh look, it doesn't have a size. So it seems like there was a problem encoding one of the samples. Interesting. There must have been an error during the save. Let's try doing this. And then take all of this, reconstructed dot blockhead zip. There shouldn't be any compression. I don't think there should anyway. It looks like it was a very big sample. So this is the same project file. I have to add that comment again. The comment is this. This just tells blockhead what version the project file is. So let's see if that's openable now. It won't be complete because it's missing that sample. Yeah. Yeah, it loads now. And then we have a one error because it couldn't find that sample. This one. There's two that it couldn't find. GPA Waterworld, Donkey Kong. There's another one here. So there was some problem encoding samples when the project was saved. So I don't know what happened. No idea. Whatever it is, I guess it's rare because I don't think anyone's reported this before. But I guess I'll just I'll send this back to that guy and just say, sorry, some of the samples are going to be missing. Missing samples. Okay, now, what was I doing? Is this building right now? Okay. Right. So for about a month, I've been working on this big sort of restructuring of a whole bunch of different systems inside Blockhead. And so it's basically, I don't want to call it a refactor because a refactor implies that everything's the same from the user's point of view. And it kind of is from the user. Well, I guess it is. Okay, I guess it's a refactor. Well, I can tell you the one thing that's new, actually, thanks to this restructuring. So basically, I've moved a bunch of things from the UI thread into this background thread. So things are sort of more in certain corner cases, things are more performant straight away, and then it also opens up a whole bunch of things for the future. Where I don't have to worry so much about running into sort of scalability issues because so much is now occurring in this background thread rather than in the UI where it didn't belong. And in the process of doing that, I basically refactored a bunch of stuff that it was things that were long overdue for being refactored. Like the baking system is entirely rewritten now, and a large part of the manipulation system. So one thing that is new, and you probably didn't even realize that this was missing, to be honest, but if you have, that's not a very good sample. Okay, that'll do. If you have a send and a receive connected to each other, then if you have a feedback loop involved, when there's a feedback loop, the baking system is turned off for any blocks involved in the feedback loop. So if you have FX in between, the baking will be turned off as well. So this is always going to be doing like real-time DSP when you play this back. It's not going to be just playing back baked samples. And previously what you could not do was bounce this to a new sample. That wasn't possible because basically the way that send and receive buffers work is this is just when you place a send block like this, it's just allocating a buffer of memory to write to, and then when you have a connected receive block, it's just reading from that buffer. That's why this kind of thing works, where you have the receive before the send. It's because it's baking this to a, well, I shouldn't say that. The baking system is a sort of another layer on top of things that makes the backwards receive work. But yeah, with the feedback loop, it's a better example of it's just writing to this buffer and then reading from the buffer here, and then the read is going back into the write, and that's where you get this feedback loop. But the point is, I need a buffer of memory to read and write to, and when you do a bounce, what that's doing is it's just creating basically a shallow copy of the entire project. Shallow copy is not the right phrase. It's it's an immutable data structure. I know that might not mean anything to you, but basically you could think of it as a copy of the entire project. So it's a completely separate copy. You could treat it that way. But the problem is that copy of the entire project in the old version of the code, it would have these references to this buffer that I would allocated here, this buffer of memory, and it was just, and so you can't use that. I can't reuse that buffer of memory during the bouncing operation, which happens in another thread, because while the bounce is happening, because it might be a really big bounce, it might be like really big like this. This is in debug mode, so it's going to be even slower than it should be. But so you see, it takes time to bounce it, like this. It takes a bit of time. You can sort of see, and so while it's bouncing, the user might just start doing real-time things again. And so it would be reading, writing to the buffer here during the bounce, and then reading, writing here as well. And so it's basically a data race. So what I could do now, thanks to my restructuring, it was basically like a three lines of code to get this working, because I could just, in a very simple way, create a new buffer just for the purposes of bouncing during this operation. And then when the bounce is complete, that buffer memory actually gets returned to this pool of send-receive buffers, so it can be reused in the future. Anyway, so that's a new thing. So you see, it's not all just a refactoring. There's new stuff as well. Okay. So what I'm doing now is looking for regressions, because I've changed some. Well, there's one thing that I still need to do for this restructuring / refactoring, and that is macro baking. I haven't done that yet, so I'm not going to be creating any macros for the time being, because I know it's just going to be broken. Because I just haven't implemented macro baking yet, because it's slightly more involved, but it should be pretty easy to do. Before I get to that though, I'm just sort of working on looking for things that, because I've rewritten so much code, things that are inevitably going to be broken. One thing that I already know is broken is, again, it's to do with send and receive buses, where if you have a send and then a receive, if you turn on mute, yeah, that's correct. So mute should mute the send, but the receive should still be audible. So there's some problem. What was the problem? I think it was to do with... So this is very broken, okay. So I turn mute on. Now there's no receive at all, and there's no waveform even. So this situation is correct. I turn on mute. That's correct. I jiggle it trigger a rebake, and now it's broken. When a send block is baked, it's not supposed to take this mute into account, I suppose. So let's see what's going on. So let me think a second. Okay, so that will be in here. Let's close a bunch of files. I know you can do right click, close all but this, but usually this makes Visual Studio hang for about 5 minutes. Let's try it. Close all but this. It usually hangs for longer than it takes to just manually close the files. It's really dumb. Okay, right. So baking. Somewhere around here I have bake. Right. This I'm not doing yet. Okay. So generate renders. Okay, basically what I need to do here is update this audio model so that for the baking operation the send is not muted. Bake. Oh, the node. Where's that referenced? Node. Find baking cause. Okay. So this is essentially a corner case. So just for when I'm baking a send block, I don't think there's any other situations like this where I have to update the state of the send block to ignore the mute, because I don't want to take the mute into account when baking. I don't think there's any other situations like this. It's just this corner case. There might be. Okay, so that's just, I'm going to stop thinking so much and I'm just going to start writing code. So, model, I'm going to write a function, something called prepare for bake. Spec node ID. Oh no, passing the entire node because that has the type as well. Prepare for bake. Well, if I'm passing in a node, I could just call it prepare, and then it's obvious from the context of the arguments. Nope. Model. It's a bakery node because I'm passing in a baking node. Prepare. So if node type is block type send, oh, is it cast to an int or what? Oh, that's not the block type, that's a node type. Okay, fine. Okay, I'm actually going to say for bake, prepare for bake, and I'm going to pass in the this core. prepare for bake. So this. And then we say if core block type is a send, then we're going to do something special, which is what exactly? Model. Let's say ID for ID model. The reason if this code seems really strange, it's because I'm updating an immutable data structure, and so it looks a little. I'm not going to explain that, but it's just this is the way you do it with this particular library that I'm using. So audio core data. What is this? Oh yeah, here we go. Send. Send update ID. This is going to be what's audio data block send. I think. If that's wrong, I'll get a compile error. What is it? Base. Okay. Unset flag. Audio data block components active base. There we go. Found it. So I'm turning muting off for this one block. If it's a send. And now we got that's how I do it. Okay. Folks. Didn't work. Didn't work. Let's see what's going on then. Prepare for bake. Block type is send, which it is. Then it goes in here. It goes in here. And it's is this right? I can't read this. This is just something that I got off the internet. Flags 2. So let's have a look at that, please. Excuse me? 1. Right, that makes sense. So it's just... So, hold on. I don't agree with that. Flags 2. So mute wasn't even on. Apparently. Am I doing something wrong here? AF mute is 1. Two. Have I confused myself? Oh, okay, this is interesting. I have a mute here and a mute here. This is the relevant one. They're used for different situations. I can't remember what's what. What's this AF mute? This is not even referenced anywhere. Okay. Alright. Alright. Okay, fine. I did it wrong. Oh, also I'm updating core data anyway. Please. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so at least core, mute. That should do me right. It's going to rebuild a bunch of stuff now because I changed this header file. Yeah, this is what I've been working on for the last month or whatever it's been. All of this stuff is new. All of this stuff is new. How big this file is. 2100 lines here. All of this stuff is new. All of this stuff is new. Bakery stuff. Bakery. This is what I did this morning, I think. I finished this off this morning. So bakery, except for macro blocks, baking is more or less working now. Except for all these little regressions and bugs that I'm fixing now, such as this one with the muting. What else? Oh yeah, this massive file, funcs private, this one. It's got a bunch of really cool functions in it. Look at this one. Look how horrible this function is. Yeah, it's all stuff for like detecting what blocks are intersecting with what blocks, which can happen like across macro boundaries and happens in different ways depending on the settings of the manipulator. What else have I done? There's a bunch of other stuff I did. What else has changed? Yeah, I was fixing a bunch of problems to do with rendering waveforms this morning and resisting the urge to just throw away the waveform rendering code and rewrite it, which is definitely going to happen at some point, but not yet because it's quite a big thing, the waveform rendering. Waveforms are rendered in all kinds of different ways in Blockhead, and the data comes from all kinds of different sources. And about a couple of years ago, I went through this massive type erasure phase where I learned about type erasure, C++ type erasure, and decided to all the waveform. I just happened to be working on the waveform rendering at the same time, and I thought, I know, I'll solve this using type erasure. And I've since come to the position that you should not use type erasure for anything. It's actually worse than inheritance-based polymorphism, which is what it's supposed to be better than. It's explicitly supposed to be better than inheritance, and it's not. It's so much worse. What was I doing? I've lost my train of thought. Oh yeah. So go send. Yeah. So if I mute this now and jiggle it, it's still rendering. It's still baking it, which is good. Now something happened when I moved lane. Did it? Something strange happen? No, that's fine. Okay, so when I turn on this feedback loop, okay. Oh, that's interesting. That is correct. Okay, that does make sense. Yeah. That's non-intuitive, I think. It's not non-intuitive, it's fine. Yeah, it makes sense. So this is muting anything that comes into it, including the receive. As soon as it gets to the edge of it. And there's a click here. It generated a click, which it shouldn't do, I don't think. There shouldn't be a click at the edge here. Should there? Let me think. I don't think so. I don't think there should be a click there. It should generate a fade out, I think. I think there is code that's supposed to do that. Is there meant to be a fade out there? I can add this. Oh yeah, I need to fix all this stuff. This is not working either, as far as I know. Oh wait, that does work actually. So this waveform is not updating now. It's not going back to the baked waveform. Why not? Why not? So let's stay focused for a second, because I don't think this used to click. Now that's got leftover stuff from the buffer in it as well, which is also wrong. It's supposed to clear the buffer in what situation does it clear the buffer? I don't know. Okay, there's a bunch of issues here that I don't care about right now, because they're like small issues. These are the kind of bugs that they are bugs, and they will be cleaned up eventually, but they're not that important right now. So the bugs are, this is not updating the waveform. It's not switching back to the baked waveform when feedback loop is turned off for some reason. Why not? That's weird. It is playing back the baked waveform. Oh, okay, let's just fix that one bug, because that is a bit obvious. These other little bugs I'm not going to care about so much right now. I'll get to them eventually. Right, so it's going to be baked output changed. Oh, but it didn't change. Baked output changed. This is not happening, it should do. Oh, I deleted that line of code because I thought it was wrong. I just remembered, okay, I think I broke this morning. I just remembered a line of code that I deleted. Yeah. Because it's another corner case. It's these send and receive the send and receive buses are it's such a unique type of block. I get all these little corner cases, so I end up writing these little pieces of code just for the send and receive blocks. And then I look at the code and I go, that seems wrong. Why would I do that? And I forget that it's because send and receive blocks don't work the same way as everything else. Let's see if I can see where I deleted it. Here it is. Okay, this is what I deleted, but it was wrong, but right at the same time. This was in sets. No. Set source. Set source. Set source. So what I was doing is this. But this should be output instead of input. And also this should also happen in other places. Set baked input. Let's go here. Ah, see, I do have get receive equals. I should have something like this, I think. ID. So I constantly have these little snippets of code, like just dealing with send and receive corner cases. Because the mechanics of it are just different to everything else. So that should solve that issue. Send, receive. And what happened there? Weird. Something weird happened there. Ah, it's when you move it off of a lane entirely. Which can happen. Why would that trigger a bake? I don't know. If I move it really quickly so it doesn't hit this situation, if I go then it doesn't re-trigger a bake. And then this doesn't. That's really janky. But it is correctly switching between the real-time waveform and the baked waveform now. No, it's not. So when I go like that, let's have a look. Oh, this should be happening. Does this happen twice? Just once? What is this? Is this the receive? This is the receive. Set baked output empty. That makes sense. Yeah. Set baked output. I'm confused. Right, I think I forgot during this refactor how exactly... Oh, now it's rebaking. Set baked output. What is this? The receive, yeah. So it bakes the output. Now it's working correctly. Now it's not. So what happened? Well, okay, the baking graph is getting fucked up then. That must be what's going on. It must be fucked. Let's have a look. When this, okay, send is moving, which means it should graph. No, that's the wrong thing. Input dependence should be 1. It should have 1. It has 2. Why does it have 2? Why does it have 2? I don't know. Does it go in here? No. But it goes in here, I assume. Node. Oh, so it's the output of the send, and then there should be an output of the receive also. ID 74, I think, is a send. Oh yeah, it was. It's this is okay. This is the receive. So we do trigger baking node for this receive. Input. No. Okay. Yeah, the baking graph's fucked up. I know exactly what's going on. Okay. So the baking graph is basically a sort of a two-way dependency graph, which is maintained whenever blocks are moving around, so that when one block changes in some way, all of its dependent blocks are like rebaked if they need to be. And it's a very complicated thing, and it's much better now. The code is much simpler, so I should be able to just find the problem pretty quickly here, I think, because the problem is going to be dependence for send input. Send output dependent. Input dependent. No. Dependencies for send. Okay, hold on. Dependence for send input. Wait, what was I looking at then? I was looking at this. Okay, dependents for send input. Okay, so these are the nodes in the baking graph which depend upon the baking result of the input of the send block, and that is basically any receives that are connected to this send. And the problem is this. Should be like that. Okay. Because the receive does not have an input node, it just has an output. This should be good now. Yes, thank you. Yeah. What a cool sample. Okay, here we go. Yeah. So now when I move this around, this rebakes. That's good. No! Again, the waveform is not updated. Or it doesn't switch to the baked waveform, I mean. But it is. Interesting. It's kind of weird, actually. That doesn't look right. This waveform is not supposed to be visible at all. It should be the other one. Baked output changed. Is this a null pointer? Yeah, it is. Why is it null? That doesn't make sense. Why is it null? This should happen at some point. It doesn't. So this is not rebaking. So this is playing back the real-time DSP. How is it doing that? What? This is just not rebaking. I can see that it isn't. In fact, because the background tasks are here, there's one task. It should be two. So how did it get into this situation? It basically means the baking graph is still fucked, I suppose. There must be something else that I missed. Let's go here. nodes. This is the first one, and then the second one is receive. Trigger baking node. 76 output. That should be the one. So we should get to here. Clear bake data. Trigger baking node. Dependents. There aren't any. Should be baked. Is this going to fail? No. So this is the send, this is the receive. So we should get to here now. This is the baking system. Should be baked. Let's have a look. This is the send. This is going to be baked. And then this is the receive. No, this is the send again. Why is this happening again? Oh, because this happened again. Let me see the cool stack. Why are we doing this over and over again? I don't know. At some point we should get out of this fucking loop, right? Okay, and now we're into the bakery. So this is the send, blah blah blah. That happens. Okay. And this is the receive. Is this going to fail for some reason? Nope. Let me go in here again. I don't know what is going on. I can actually see, because I'm printing a bunch of stuff out, what is being baked at the moment. And it's just the send block. The receiver's never baked. But it's being added to the baking queue, I can see it. What happens here? Is this happening at some point? Node. Input. Input. What? Is this happening then? Oh, I think it's already in there, but it's not in the queue. How did that happen? Ah, okay. There's a problem in the baking system, which is not surprising because I just finished writing it this morning. So I've ended up in a situation where I have 2 nodes in the baking list, but only 1 in the baking queue, which doesn't make sense. We shouldn't get to that situation ever. Two in the baking list, one in the baking queue. How did that happen? How did that happen? That's weird. So I guess the receiver, that receiver will never be baked ever right now because it's just stuck in the baking queue in this invalid state. This is never going to be baked, right? Because we got it into some kind of weird situation. Okay. Let's try and I'm just going to look at the code then and see if I can figure out how that could happen. Turn the baking. This is not okay. Baking queue. How did that happen? Baking queue. So it seems like this didn't happen. How did this happen? Why am I doing break here? I guess I should. This is such a weird way of writing a for loop. I guess it is. Fine. Maybe it's discarded. Oh! It's this, isn't it? Should be baked. It should be removed from the baking list in this case. I think. Yeah, I think that's what happened. It must have hit this branch. And then it was never moved from the baking list. but it was removed from the queue. Okay. I think that's what happened. Queue, yes. Let's fuck around and see if it happens again. What was that? See, how did we get? It's difficult to do. I think it's if you move lane without changing the left and right location. If you just move lane, maybe not actually. Weird. It's still there. There's a bit of a margin here between what it considers to be a feedback loop. It's because of these invisible crossfades that the engine is supposed to generate at the edges of blocks. So that's fine. Yeah, it just disappears for some reason. It doesn't even show. It actually just disappears. So you can still hear it. What's going on there? What is actually happening there? Should waveform be visible? Does it think it's inside a feedback loop? How is that? It's really janky. I don't know what I've done wrong. I need to, I think the problem's here. Well, this is where the problem... Gonna have to do some printing again. No, that's not what the problem is. This is where we ended up. So this should be showing the baked waveform and not the real-time waveform, but it's just invisible. But in here it has baked data right there. So what's going on? What is going on? Oh, is this because of... Okay, I think I know what... I might know what the issue is actually. Let's have a look. Waveform source baked output. Let's put a print here instead. Yes. Oh no. I think it's a multi-threading issue. Hmm. I had to put this in the wrong place. What? What is this? Receive block code. Oh, oh. I have an entirely different... This is what I was talking about with the waveform rendering. Big, such a mess of shit. Okay, let's put it here instead. So apparently the way that receive block waveform, baked receive block waveforms are rendered is different from other types of baked waveform. In some way, there must be something that's different in here. And then I have all this boilerplate because it's written in such a stupid way. Send, receive. Oh, that's oh. So I just had the number 11 printed out in the console because I don't understand IO streams, I guess. I suppose I'm supposed to do it like that. Yes, yes. So it's printing yes because there is baked data. I printed no because there was no baked data. Yeah, it is a multi-threading issue. Right, that's fine. So this should just be blocking. Get baking margin, what am I using that for? Get baking margin. I'm using it here. Source receive block ref. Waveform source. This should all be blocking, I guess. Just for safety, okay. So I'm just thinking about multi-threading now. Whether or not this is going to cause an issue. I don't know. I think I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. I don't know. I don't know if this is right. Waveform source receive block ref. Yeah, I should probably think harder about this multi-threading stuff. But I'll do it off camera. I think that should solve. No, it didn't. It still didn't solve that issue. I'm still getting no printed here, which is surprising. I don't know. I don't know. Why would that be happening? Get the baked output. Oh, I think it means... Oh, it was right before. I shouldn't be doing the... I shouldn't be blocking here. I think the issue is actually... I don't know. I think it's not emitting this in situations where it should. Is this happening over and over again? When I move the lane. No, it's not. Oh. Clear baked data. This must be happening. It is. Like baked output, is this be? Oh, it's been cleared here. And then it's not rebaking when it re-enters the lane. I see. Sometimes it is rebaking, but not always. Ah, right. It's not rebaking when it re-enters the lane. Why not? I don't know. This is going to be hard to put a breakpoint on that. So baking graph update. Baking graph update. The bake data shouldn't be cleared when it moves lane. That's the actual bug. It shouldn't be cleared at all. So when this is moved off a lane, the bake data is cleared. Which should happen with some types of block, but not with a receive. So why is it being cleared? Clear baked data. At what point is being cleared, I wonder? Clear baked data. It's because baking was triggered, and so baking was triggered, and that's why it's clearing it. Why was baking triggered? Okay. Trigger baking node, trigger. Why did that happen? What is this? Trigger baking node. Why does that keep highlighting things? One of these is gonna trigger. There and there. Oh, one of these also maybe. Ah, because it's been moved from the baking graph. Is that what's going on? Oh, it's impossible to tell now. Set baked output. I think it's because it's removed from the baking graph. Where is it? Up here. Baking graph arrays. I think this happens. Trigger baking node. No, that's not what it is. Is it here? Yes. Ah, there it is. I see. I assume it's because it hits here or... Oh, yeah. Hold on. Didn't I... Okay, hold on. Yeah. Erase. Huh? What happened? Hold on. Move this out here. What? Why does this only sometimes happen? Okay, that's strange. That's strange. That's not consistent for some reason. So the send is a dependency of the receive. When this moves out of a lane, it should remove the send as a dependency because it's being removed entirely from the baking graph. Bang. 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 It's not consistent at all for some reason. This should happen every time. Send? What? This is weird. That's weird. $76. Receive. Wait, what happened? Okay, something strange is happening. Something strange is happening. Send. Oh, it's updating both of them for some reason. Why is it updating both of them? Baking graph updates. Why is it updating both of them? Is that correct? Is it meant to do that? Is it meant to do that? No, I don't understand. That's weird. I don't understand this. Is it just this that's happening? 76. Generate edges. Oh. Oh, it happens here, okay. So it updates baking graph for both of them because the edges changed. Okay, I understand, right. I still don't understand what's going on here though. This is a send, which I don't care about. This is a receive. We go here. We should have an output dependency, yes. We still have one output dependency. Zero. These are all empty. These are all empty. That's what I expect. But at some point, output dependency is receive output dependency expired. This must happen, right? This must happen, but it can't do. Doesn't make sense. It's not that. Oh, this would happen at some point. Shouldn't this happen at some point then? Yeah, it does. But not always. Ah. How is that happening? What's going on then? That's strange. It doesn't always happen. Is receive expired? In some cases this is just returning false. It's still on a lane at this point. But it won't be forever. Now it's 0. I don't understand how it's possible to pull it off the lane. Oh, right, if you do it really quickly. Right, so all of this part is working correctly, but then it's just not rebaking when it re-enters, which is what is meant to do. When you go like that and then like that. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it does. Why? So strange. I don't understand what the rules are here for when it bakes and when it doesn't. It's not rebaking. Oh, I figured it out. If you move it off the lane, then move it positionally, left or right, and then put it back on, then it will rebake. If you just move it off and then on again without moving left or right, then it doesn't rebake. That's the rule. That seems consistent. I get it. Okay. So it's triggering a rebake because it's noticed that it's moved left or right. Which is wrong. I don't understand what... I'm not sure exactly where the rebake is being triggered. Oops. Set location. This is the big function, but... Baking graph. Oh, right, yeah. It's being re-triggered because the manipulation graph is updating because it moved left or right. But the manipulation graph is updated anyway, isn't it? Okay, I get it. If something enters the manipulation graph, it's not the baking graph. I mean, manipulation has nothing to do with it. The baking graph. If something enters the baking graph, it should trigger a rebake. Right. So part of the problem is I try to be clever with this iteration of the baking graph, where I don't have any explicit operation for when something is entering the baking graph. I only have an erase for when it leaves the baking graph, or an update, which happens anytime something moves or enters the baking graph. So they're just rolled into one function because it seems sensible to me because of the way things are implemented. But what that means is I'm not adding to the signals list necessarily if something is entering the graph. But that is not such a problem actually, because really I just need to put it here. I don't want to do that though, that sucks. Does it suck? No, it doesn't, it's fine. Okay, let's just put it here. Trigger baking node. Trigger baking node. Wait, this needs a node, right? A node. Bakery node. With the input and the output. And then if it doesn't have one of these, then it would just be ignored, I think. I think this is the way I'm doing it in other places. Like here. No. Here. No. Where is it? Here. Yeah. Oh, look. Oh, this is just if the size changed. Okay, I think this is fine. Let's see what happens. It's giving me a headache. Let's just disable all these. Send, receive. There we go. Does that mean everything is rebaked? When it re-enters a lane, which is, it's fine. I guess it's fine. That's how things should be, I suppose. So what did I achieve here? The muting works now, right? Now I don't know what that is all about. It's oh, this is still broken, look. So now this is not switching over. What's even happening here? Oh no. Oh, okay, that's just misleading. For the baked waveforms I use this like faded out waveform. But I use exactly the same effect for when something's muted. So I was getting confused there. I need to solve that at some point. Find some other visual representation for one of those. But so yeah, so this is muted. Okay, so it is working fine. That's why I can't hear it. And then it mutes anything coming in, so the entire thing is muted. Yeah. Up to that point. Yeah. Turn the muting off. And then bouncing works. Okay. What's happening now? That shouldn't be rebaking when I move this around. This should rebake. That makes sense. But moving this shouldn't rebake. Why is that happening now? Why is that rebaking? There will be something in here. It moved relative to at least one of its dependencies. If it's a receive and the node ID 74 is the source ID, then we ignore it. But it's already been triggered. And the send input has been triggered as well. Oh. Oh, right. I think I know what's going on. Do I? No, I don't. What is going on? So we get to here. Let's have a look. Okay, we already have two things in the baking list. Ah, the input and the output of the receive. 77, that's the receive, right? Let's have a look. 77, yeah. So that's what I just added, right? I put that in here. I added this. Oh, yeah. So if there's a lane now, but there previously was not a lane, then I trigger baking. That's what I want to do. Fuck it out. Okay. I have a function for that. Where was it? Do I? Somewhere up here. Get core location. Get core location of. Where's my. Oh no, are you telling me that I need. Oh shit. Oh no. Okay, I can't do it here. I have to do it inside here. If the lane. I need to do it here. Okay. If. Fuck it hell. What is it? If there wasn't a lane previously, but there is a lane now. If, okay, so duplicate lane equals t no lane, and lane is not equal to no lane. If the core just entered a lane, always trigger baking. Okay. I think. This started so simple, this little bit of code, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. But it's all necessary, unfortunately. It's one of these problems that seems so simple on the surface. Just delete all these, thank you. Okay. Now what's happening? How did this... Okay, I saw this earlier as well. I saw this happen earlier. For some reason it thinks that there's an effect. Function index 0. Core block type effect. How did this happen? 67. This doesn't make sense. I don't understand how this happened. 67. I mean, this is just an initial value, I suppose. Uninitialized, I should say. I don't understand how this happens, and it's really rare. It's hard to reproduce. Okay, I'm not going to move on until I solve this. How did this happen? For some reason, it thinks that there's an effect block just being created. But there wasn't. It was a sampler block that I created. How on earth did that happen? That's so weird. 67. How did that happen? This value is always initialized when the core is created. It happens here. Initialize core. No, it happens here in objects. So how is this possible? This is fucking bullshit. I don't understand how this happened. 67. How did this happen? Oh, block is 0, so this is really fucked. This is an invalid value. How on earth did this happen? Doesn't make sense to me. Right, it's been... At some point I've called cause.update. I see what I've got. At some point I've gone cause.update, but the core doesn't exist yet. Cause.update like this. How did I... At what point did I do that? There's two... Cause.update. Okay, there's two places that happens. Update macro level. In what situation does that happen? Update macro level. If the lane changed. Right, if the lane changes, then we update macro level. But this would have already happened. It must be this call here. I'm going to put an assert then. And that should catch it if it happens again, I think. There must be what's going on. I don't know what else it could be. Somehow it's getting to this point before the core's been initialized. Or it's been deleted and then I set location. Ah. Oh, that makes sense. Oh, yeah. The core's being deleted and then does that make sense? How would that even happen? How would that happen though? because arrays core. This happens in the destructor of this thing. And where does set location happen? Core active block. I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure. Oh, but this would have failed. If that... I'm already doing the check, pretty much. Because this throws an exception if it doesn't exist. I'm already doing that assert. So I don't know, I still don't understand how it happened. Pause dot insert dot update. Pause dot insert. That's not it. Oh. Ah, okay. I found another one. This one. Okay, let's think about this. Update upstream positions. Okay. No, I'm still doing. I'm doing a check here as well. So it can't be that either. This is checking if the core exists, and if it doesn't, then it doesn't do anything. Doesn't make any sense. Set location. Ah, okay, I got it. I think I actually have got it this time. Okay. Here's what's going on. Here's what's happening. We're doing set location. And we already have the core's being erased. Okay, yeah. I'm trying to figure out how to explain this out loud, like using actual words and sentences. Basically, the way this abstraction layer works is we have a bunch of actions which are put onto a queue for the various operations of like maintaining this data model. This is my way of like getting out of the world of object orientation and into a slightly different world of like value semantics and immutable data structures. The issue is I'm adding this set location action to the queue, and then I'm adding an erase core action. So it's going to set the location of a core, and then it's going to erase it. So the setting of the location is completely irrelevant, but it's not going to be like... this is the kind of thing that I could put some work into not set location in situations where... Or I could like detect when a core is being erased and like remove this from the queue or something, but I'm not doing that. Anyway, So first it's going to process this set location action for this core, and then it's going to process the erase core action. And what the set location, one of the things that can happen in the set location action when it's processed is it will make a note to update the macro level. I'm not going to explain what that means, but it updates the macro level for this core at some point. After all of the actions have been processed, I want to update the macro level for this core. So it processes this set location action and makes a note, and then it processes the set core, the erase core action, which will remove the core from the model entirely. But then I still have this note to update the macro level for this core that's now been erased. So when it comes to updating the macro level, I'm then calling this update function. And if a core with this ID doesn't exist in this table when I call this update function, then the way that the immutable data structures library that I'm using works is it will just create it on the fly, which was what I suspected was happening, but I couldn't find exactly where it was happening, but I'm pretty sure it's happening here. And so what I should be doing instead is calling this other function update if exists, and that solves my issue of getting this sort of like weird uninitialized core sitting in the table, and then it made its way all the way to here, and it was saying what is the type of this core, and it was just getting the number 0, which translated to the effect enumeration 0, which happens to be the block type enumeration, and effect happens to be 0 because it's the first one on the list. That's why it thought that there was an effect when there wasn't. Right, so that shouldn't be happening anymore. I cannot remember what I was testing before I got to that point. I cannot remember what I was doing. I know it was something to do with... Oh yeah. Yeah, it was baking when I was just moving it, and now it doesn't do that. So that looks like that's solved as well. Okay, great. That was a good noise. What's going on now? What's happening now? Huh? Wait, that's not what that sounds like. What happened? What happened? I might have to watch that back. I don't understand what I did. Huh? How did I do that? Something weird happened. It's not happening anymore. What happened? I need to watch that back on the video to see exactly what I did. So okay, I guess I'm going to stop recording and watch that back. I'm back. I have no idea what happened. I cannot see from the video what happened. Let's just restart and try and do it again. It was really weird. I don't understand. What? What happened? It's not happening anymore. It's working fine. Oh my god, what happened though? I don't get it. It was really weird. I did something like this, right? And then I was playing back this and it was playing back. I cannot get my head around that. What the hell happened? Huh? So strange. Really weird. It's not happening anymore. I hate send and receive buses. It's so bonkers. I really have not been. I never feel like I'm like treating send and receive buses with like the respect that they deserve, because I always just sort of treat it like, oh yeah, and I have this send and receive bus thing, and yeah, it's just this like other block type that I have to think about. But there's so many issues that I keep running into with send and receive buses, and it always takes such a huge amount of energy to fix send and receive bus related things. It just, on the surface of it, it seems like it should be this simple thing. Because I'm writing to a buffer and then reading from it. But then the interactions with the baking system are so complicated when you actually get into it. What's going on there? Yeah, I've never solved that issue actually. With the waveforms reappearing. It's because of the way buffers are reused. Because it's not one just contiguous chunk of memory that you're allocating. It allocates it in little chunks. And so when you make a bus smaller, it's returning those other unused chunks to the pool and then reusing them when you make it bigger. And there is code. I know that there's code for like clearing out those buffers when they're brought back into play, but clearly it doesn't work. Or it might just be the bitmap data that is not cleared properly. I don't know. The same thing happens with the input buffer, I think. Yeah, I just don't know what happened with that bug that I saw a minute ago. Doesn't seem to be happening now. What did I do? I sliced to the send block and it disconnected this. Is it meant to do that? I don't think so. Is that an existing bug? It should keep the connection to the one on the left, I think. But maybe it doesn't. I might check if that's an existing bug. Again, it's not good. Why is everything broken? Oh, there it goes. Oh, it's because it's... Is it because it's such a long... Because I'm in debug mode and it's such a long buffer that it's rebaking. Oh. It was treating the... It was rebaking the entire thing as if it was still this long. And then as soon as I resized it, it made it smaller again. So there's another bug. Yeah. Still not sure I understand anything. Don't understand anything. Yeah. Let me just I assume that was an existing bug that I just found in the current build. If I have a send and a receive, and this is connected here, if I slice this in two, this connection is automatically severed, it looks like here. And I think it should just keep the one on the left. That would make sense, I suppose. Alright, I think I need to eat something. Starting the recording again. Oh. Microphone's in the wrong place. Just starting again. Because I think maybe I know what's going on. I think the baking system is broken. Yes. Okay, I see what's going on. Okay, let's have a quick look. I'm not going to solve this now, but I think I know what's happening. Okay. Great, bake. Prepare for bake. Find baking cores. What is going? Whoa, 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 whoa. So this sampler block is being baked when I change one of the parameters. And for some reason it's including that send and receive feedback loop below the sampler block. It's including that in the baking. Which doesn't seem correct. Oh, I'm not filtering them out of the model. So when I do find baking cores, it's just going to have one, right? Yeah. But it's not filtering them out of the model. And so it's just re-rendering. Okay, that's going to, yeah. And that's a data rate as well. Because I'm only generating render state for one core. Okay, fuck it. I'll just fix that now instead of eating food. Okay. So just to be clear, what the bug is here. I can reproduce it consistently, and the problem is, if I have a sample of some kind, I could put a send and receive beneath it, doing some kind of feedback nonsense. These send and receives are not considered to be dependents of the sampler block. That's not what's going on. But when I change one of the parameters on this sampler block, it's going to trigger it to rebake. And it's going to take a copy of the entire project state. So it's all of the workspaces with all of the tracks, with all of the lanes, with all of the blocks. It's taking a copy of the entire thing. And it's going to use that to generate the baked sampler block. And what I'm supposed to do is filter out any blocks that shouldn't be involved in the baking operation, which is what I'm already doing for bouncing, I think. If I were to bounce this block, even though it's above these, yeah, that works fine. But when it bakes, I'm not filtering out these blocks, and so it ends up getting that feedback noise until I adjust the parameter again, rebake it, then it sounds correct again. So I'm not filtering out the cores, which, yeah, I am already doing that kind of thing when it comes to bouncing, I think. I do this filter thing. So I can just reuse this, I think. Erase dead cores here. So this just goes through the workspace and erases any cores that shouldn't be that are not needed. Okay, let's just reuse that then. That should just solve it, right? Oh, also, I should be doing this anyway, right? I should be ignoring the track amplitude when I bake. Yeah, I'm not doing that either. So if I was to create a sample here, also I need to ignore the track mute, which I'm not doing here, I think. Okay. And ignore track mute, so I'm not doing that yet. But if I was to turn the volume of this track down, and then change a parameter on this sample block, play it back, you can't hear it because the track volume's down, but then if I turn the volume back up, I think it'll still be silent. Yeah, it is. Until I rebake again. Yeah, because it's not ignoring the track amplitude. So there's all kinds of things that I'm not doing properly here. Track. Oh, I can just set it. It's a boolean. Okay. while bouncing. Do I want to ignore the track mute while bouncing? Yeah, I do. While bouncing or baking, I want to ignore the track amplitude and mute. And remove all the ignore mute. Sing. Okay, so this entire thing I can just reuse, right? Yes. Let's do it like this. Filter workspace. For bake or bounce. There's other snapshot types where I don't want to be doing this. So workspace export or the block export doesn't even have a workspace anyway. Does it? No, I just generate one. Yeah, so for bouncing and baking, yeah. I'm so hungry, man. Audio model. What is this? Oh my. Okay, let's just do it like this. Audio filter workspace for T workspace ID. Just take this, put it in here. Yeah, I need a list of cores. ID. Oops, I need cores. Cores. I'm going to use the word prepare instead, like I did up there. Prepare workspace for bake or bounce. Prepare model for bake or bounce. Okay. Return prepare model blah 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 blah. Spec. This spec calls. I'm gonna sneeze. Fucking hell. Okay. Copy this. Go up to baking. Put it before I generate the render state. Like this. What's this doing again? That's fine. Prepare model for bake or bounce. Bake. What's the workspace when I'm baking? Prepare for bake. Wait, how does this work? This is... What do you render... What? Where am I setting the fucking workspace? Oh, that's fucked up. No, oh god, that's another bug. Okay. Isn't that another bug? I think it is. Bake. Yeah. Node. I need the fucking... Surely I need the workspace. Okay, I need to figure out what the workspace is here. The only thing I actually need it for is here. Okay, I see why I wasn't doing it. Okay. It didn't actually matter, but it does matter now. Yeah. I need the workspace of... Okay, I can have cross workspace bounce baking situations, which is another corner case. So I need to enumerate all of the workspaces that are involved in the bake. Okay. Right. So this is going to be a list of workspaces. What the hell did you just do, Visual Studio? Vector workspaces. Yeah, the current workspace matters for bouncing, but not for baking. Am I correct in saying that? No, I'm not. Okay, I'll need to do that as well. Okay, one sec. Return audio. Okay, audio equals spec. So when I'm bouncing, I just do this because I bounce on one workspace only. But I can bake across multiple workspaces, unfortunately. Unfortunately. No, I don't. No, that's not true. No, I just need the workspace for the node being baked. So let's do that. Get parent workspace. Model node ID. Space ID. Space ID. Audio equals this. Audio current workspace equals workspace ID. And then we do that. And then we do that, and we actually don't need a list of workspaces. This was correct before. Yeah. Get rid of this stuff that I added. And then this is this. I think this is right. I think it's right. Ready, send, receive. Create a silly feedback loop. Like this. And then we modify a parameter. Yay! And also, the track amplitude shouldn't affect it. Good. Sorry, I don't know what I'm doing. I was just zoning out for a second there. Okay. I'm going crazy. I've been working for, what, 11 hours, I think.